He was in the back seat with a knife. He's that guy they were talking about on the radio.
Welcome back, Mythheads. This time we're talking about a classic urban legend, the killer in the backseat. This myth first popped up in America in the 60s. This may be hard to imagine for some of the younger viewers. Before the days of the internet, many urban legends circulated by flyers and letters, via fax, and by word of mouth. Nowadays, they pop up on the internet in the form of chain letters, the sort of thing your aunt or grandma might forward to you about how there's AIDS-infested needles in the seats at movie theaters. Most urban legends are passed around as fact, but upon closer inspection, they mostly just seem to be made-up cautionary tales, sometimes based off similar events, and sometimes just completely fictional. There are many variations of the killer in the backseat story, but the legend goes something like this. A woman pulls into a gas station in the middle of the night. The gas station attendant seems a bit shifty. When it comes time to pay, he tells her that there's a problem with her card and asks her to come inside the station. The attendant appears nervous and the woman is hesitant but follows him inside. The reason the attendant wanted the woman inside the station was that because he noticed that someone was hiding in the back seat of her car. He tells her this and informs her that the police have already been called. The woman turns back to look at her car just in time to see the back door of her vehicle swing open. A shadowy figure hops out and runs off. The woman nearly escaped a possible carjacking, or worse. This story appears in the opening moments of Urban Legend, a 1998 film about a serial killer who fashions his murders after several classic urban legends. In this film version, the gas station attendant has a stutter, and the woman misinterprets his intentions, and as a result, the attendant fails to warn her of the real danger before she takes off. Snopes.com summarizes this classic urban legend by saying that there's little or no record of its ever playing out in real life. It's merely a cautionary tale warning us to be vigilant of our surroundings. There just aren't that many bad guys lurking in back seats to get worried about. So little or no record. Well,
the 26-year-old victim was inside this Hammond Shell gas station's convenience store early Friday morning when the suspect crept into her unlocked minivan, forced the woman to drive to several places, including this Chicago alley on the 9500 block of Colfax. That's where she says he raped her inside her minivan.
That's what's getting me. You know, I'm thinking that it's a movie you're talking about, but it's not a movie.
Unfortunately, this urban legend became a reality in this story from 2013. This sort of thing seems very rare, but just be aware of your surroundings anyway, especially when it comes to your car. So yes, people have been assaulted in their cars, but the classic urban legend has these things in common. The woman, the killer, and a third party who tries to warn the woman and either succeeds or fails. As far as we know, that exact scenario has never actually been reported as a real occurrence. So if the classic urban legend never happened, where did this story come from? A similar story did actually happen in 1964 in New York City. An escaped prisoner hid in the backseat of a car which belonged to a police officer who shot him. Most research on this urban legend points back to this one occurrence as the most likely origin of the killer in the backseat. But again, it's not at all like the story with the woman in the gas station. Urban legends can be a bit like a game of telephone. As they get passed around from person to person and city to city, little details change. Some variations of this story had the killer hiding underneath the car. In another version, a woman is driving home when a car behind her starts flashing its lights and honking the horn at her. She doesn't recognize the car and panics, speeding towards her home. The car follows her all the way there. As she runs out of her car, the other vehicle pulls up and a man emerges and pulls out a gun. The woman ducks for cover, certain she's about to be shot. But then the back door of her vehicle swings open and the real threat emerges. A serial killer had been hiding in the back seat, and the stranger was trying to warn the woman. He shoots the killer and saves her. In the late 90s and early 2000s, this classic myth popped up on the internet, but this time gang members were creeping into the back seats of unsuspecting women's cars. Their motives would vary. Sometimes it was just a carjacking. Other stories mention gang initiations where new gang members had to bring back a woman and a car for the gang. There are quite a few similar urban legends concerning gangs. Another popular one is that gang members drive around with their lights off and will attack the first person who flashes their lights at them. These kinds of urban legends are often a form of racist hysteria, trying to paint a certain group or ethnicity as a danger to American society. The flashing headlights legend likely started with the Hells Angels in the early 80s. But by the time the urban legend hit Los Angeles, it was black and Mexican street gangs at the center of the story. Other than the 1998 version of urban legends, the killer in the backseat story also appeared in the 1989 horror movie Nightmares. The killer hiding in the backseat has become a bit of a motif in horror movies and film in general. It's one of those tropes we've come to expect in a movie when someone runs into a car trying to escape someone or something. We expect someone to be hiding in the backseat. Stay vigilant, people. Thanks for watching Urban Myths. Help us grow and hit that subscribe button. As we are a fairly new channel, it means a lot to us. If you really want to help out, like,
and share the videos on Facebook and Reddit.
Keep an eye out for the next episode, and thanks again.